Hello and welcome to CTV News Across Canada for Tuesday, January 27th. We've got the top local stories from coast to coast, stories that affect you and the country. Thanks for joining us.
Gary Bensley is hard at work digging out his driveway.
It was crazy. We haven't had storms like that in a long time.
The storm set a new record for the city, dropping a whopping 56 centimeters of snow.
It really was nuts. I was going to get out here and do some of this yesterday. I thought, I just don't want to go outside in the snow. I'll wait till tomorrow.
All night and through the day, plows have been clearing streets.
We will continue plowing nonstop, and we won't stop until the job is done.
City staff say it's all hands on deck with 600 plows and about 1,300 staff working. Officials have declared a special weather event and major snowstorm condition which bans parking on snow routes.
We have to get through the plowing before we can get to that large-scale operation.
Emergency vehicles still struggle navigating certain roads that are two-way streets, but now down to one lane.
It's horrible, honestly. Originally, I'm from Alberta, so I'm a little bit accustomed to it, but I never expected it to be like this in Toronto.
Along many streets, cars are buried under snow and banks are pushed into traffic.
It's the worst that I've ever seen it.
Morgan Fulton used her body to clear off her car.
First, I had to make sure it was my car because who knows under all that snow.
Chris Rogers has been tackling the snow for hours.
Thank God it's not so heavy. So if it were really heavy, it'd be harder to move.
And Hannah Clayman dug out her car with help from her partner.
I'm just trying to get this done before, we can start the day.
It's shocking, to be honest. When we came outside and the stairs were completely covered 3 times in a row, we were like, okay, this is next level.
A next level storm leaving a trail of snow-covered roads and buried cars in its path. And one of the comments we've heard from a lot of people here in the East End is, where do they put the snow when they clear it? A lot of them are running out of space on small properties or on the snow piles on the side of the road that they have are already getting so tall. We do know from city officials that snow removal is set to start tomorrow. A little bit was done today in some priority areas, but it is set to really get going tomorrow, and then it's going to ramp up over the next couple of days. Reporting live, I'm Allison Hurst. Michelle, back to you.
Visiting Ottawa from the Brantford area, Maggie Stover loves going to museums with her family.
Well, I personally love to learn, and I hope that that's something that we can give to our kids as well.
Now, confirmation that 67 jobs at the Canadian War Museum and Canadian Museum of History will be cut over the next 3 years. It's all part of the federal government's comprehensive expenditure review, going from 371 positions to 304. A spokesperson for the museum says the reduction reflects more modern and efficient ways of working, while continuing to deliver on the museum's national mandate and position the museums for the future. The Public Service Alliance of Canada says these job cuts will not just affect employees, but may also impact the visitor experience as well.
We travel so far. It's so exciting for us to come here, to have things to do in the area. We would just really expect that in our capital especially, that we continue and our kids continue to have access to these museums and services. I mean, we definitely love that extra care and information that we can get from employees.
And in a statement, the union says that visitors come to hear from experts and ask questions, and that these cuts erase the human storytelling. Other museums, like the Canadian Museum of Nature and Aviation and Space Museum, tell CTV News that they do not have to make any cuts. Patricia.
CTV's Katie Griffin reporting live for us tonight. Thank you.
The CH-146 Griffins are gearing up for Exercise Striking Bat, heading north to Fort Wainwright, Alaska.
Exercise Striking Bat is our opportunity to go up north and work in the Arctic and really look to validate our crew's ability to work in the Arctic, subarctic environment.
The month-long mission is to help military personnel prepare for operations in the area. It will also involve U.S. aviation members and soldiers from Norway, Italy, and Mongolia.
We'll be doing the typical helicopter things with them, moving them around, providing support from the air, that sort of thing.
6 of these Griffin helicopters will be flying to the Arctic and making 5 stops along the way. The mission involves around 90 air crew and support staff, all crucial to the exercise.
It does demonstrate sovereignty, and
and our resolve to other neighbors like Russia and China.
This exercise has been planned for over a year, despite U.S. President Donald Trump's comments about Greenland and NATO's help in Afghanistan after 9/11. CTV's military analyst says Canada and U.S. military relationships are strong, but Canada needs to do more on its own.
Given everything that's going on in the world politically, Edmonton and Cold Lake will even take on increased importance as projecting our capability to assert our sovereignty in the north.
Having a base like Edmonton and Wainwright, Cold Lake, and Suffield, these are just absolutely critical training areas for our preparedness and our ability to support anywhere in the world at any time.
Edmontonians might notice low-level flights over the next 2 days as the remaining helicopters head north. Miriam Valdez-Carletti, CTV News, Edmonton.
It's been a long wait in the Winnipeg airport for traveler Bindu Anil.
Hopefully I can reach my home, and my son and my husband is waiting for me there.
She's trying to get home to Ottawa, but ended up staying here overnight after her flight was cancelled Sunday evening.
I didn't sleep. I was sitting and I was talking with my family because I am already frustration, so I cannot sleep it.
That's thanks to a record-breaking snowstorm that walloped southern Ontario and Quebec, forcing airlines to cancel hundreds of flights. At Pearson Airport, a record 46 centimeters of snow fell Sunday, grounding 146 departures. And as cleanup continued Monday, the airport warned there would be further delays. Here in Winnipeg, 5 flights to Toronto were cancelled Sunday, with another 4 as of Monday afternoon, leaving travelers like Louis Arruda stranded.
It is what it is. It's Mother Nature. It's wintertime, and she kind of runs the show a little bit.
He's been able to get another flight home to Toronto, but not until Tuesday, meaning he's settling in here at the airport for the night.
I'm just kind of walking around and doing whatever and grabbing coffee and everything else. I'm not going to get another hotel room for the night, so it's really no point. I tough it out.
In a statement to CTV News, the Winnipeg Airports Authority encourages affected travelers to check the status of their flights with their airlines. If your flight has been cancelled, please do not come to the airport, as rebooking and next steps are handled directly by your airline. So, for travelers like Bindu and Arruda, Mother Nature has left them waiting and hoping their flights won't be cancelled yet again.
It is what it is, right? That's life, and you got to deal with it the best way you can, right?
The Winnipeg Airports Authority says while it is well prepared for winter weather operations, weather conditions can still impact flight schedules and may result in delays or cancellations.
All right. Thanks for this, Stanton.
It's been a difficult 3 days in Cote St. Luc, to say the least.
We lost power Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, and we still don't have power.
We had to move out on Saturday evening.
The western end of Cote St. Luc feels like a ghost town. Some residents have found shelter with either family or in hotels. Among them is City Councillor Stephen Erdely.
This is a bit of an old school thermometer that's just over 0 degrees, and it's quite chilly in here.
On top of the disruption, he and many others are concerned about frozen pipes.
So as you can see, there's no water in the sink in our room. It seems that the pipes have frozen here. If there's a crack, I'm going to have a flood that I have to deal with.
According to Hydro-Quebec, the outage was caused by a major equipment failure at the Hampston substation, cutting power to more than 15,000 customers.
When we have a problem on the substation, it can take some time. And when it's colder, you have to give the power back gradually, because the heating system on every house is going to generate a power demand.
The substation dates back to the 1950s and is scheduled to be rebuilt, but that work will not be done for at least another 5 years.
We're going to be meeting with Hydro-Quebec on next week. We have a meeting with them. We're going to be asking the very pointed questions.
In the meantime, Cote St. Luc Mayor David Torgman says the focus is on supporting residents. There's food and hot drinks at the city's aquatic center, and public security has been doing door-to-door wellness checks all weekend. Once the power's back on, the focus will turn to assessing the damage.
We already have 2 pipes that burst out, and I have a water leak in the house. So I'm more afraid what will happen when the power will come back and then all the pipe will run and we'll see if we have more damages.
Contractor and former plumber Hartley Barber says it's critical to speak with a professional before turning the heat back on if you suspect your pipes are frozen.
The danger with freezing is that expansion will cause it to break. So you have to do it I can't explain enough. Just it's very, very slowly. It's slow and painful, unfortunately.
He says even taking an extra 24 hours to reheat your home could end up saving you in the long term. Hydro-Quebec says most of its clients will be back online by the end of the day, but say at least some will likely have to spend a third night in the cold. Matt Gilmore, CTV News.
A steady stream of people braved chilly temperatures Monday to stamp their approval for separation from Canada.
We like Canada, we love Canada, but we are unsatisfied with the situation, with the policies.
We want independence from the rest of Canada. I mean, everybody here probably loves the country, but this is what we're forced into.
Many here are frustrated. They want Alberta to be seen on a global stage. They believe the federal Liberal government failed Alberta for too long with anti-energy policies.
You can't just govern for 2 provinces, Ontario and Quebec. You have to listen to people in all of the country.
Alberta flags were visible. Some here want Alberta to be an independent country, opening up trade with the U.S., but not becoming a 51st state.
I don't think anybody in this lineup is interested in joining the U.S.
No. We're seeking a free and independent Alberta, and why the hell would we want to fight tooth and nail for a year and a half or 2 years to leave Canada in the clutches of the Canada Revenue Agency to put ourselves under the taxing jurisdiction of the U.S. Treasury?
Organizers with the Alberta Prosperity Project and Stay Free Alberta promise separation will lead to no income or carbon taxes, but that plan has not been rolled out.
I've made it very clear what my position is. It was my first bill, Alberta sovereignty within a united Canada. I want a new relationship with Ottawa.
If she continues with that, that's a real dereliction of leadership. You're talking about a referendum to break up the country, and you won't say what side you're on as a premier?
While Alberta's NDP caucus pledged Monday to always remain a part of Canada, denouncing separation.
Separatism is also a national security threat. It makes Albertans more vulnerable in intensely fragile times.
Tyson Fedor, CTV News, Calgary.
Nova Scotia's Department of Health has announced changes to the province's family practice registry, saying when it was created in 2016, the registry was a static list that offered no patient support or engagement. They say that's changed as of today.
Now, when someone contacts the registry for support to find a provider, the team discusses their personal circumstances and health concerns with them. This help ensures they can be added to the registry, have access to care options, and understand how Nova Scotia Health can support them.
In some cases, the province says an individual's health needs can be quickly resolved in consultation with a healthcare provider, and registration is not needed. When a primary care provider is available, registrants will be assigned to that provider or practice, and patients will be considered pending.
That person has to then engage with that primary care provider, and an appointment needs to be made. So I don't think it's government's role to make appointments for people. That is an important point for people to know that this is now in the future where I'm going to get care.
In 2024, more than 100,000 Nova Scotians were on the waiting list for a family doctor, 16% of the province's population. As of January 1st, the province says there are now 66,000 Nova Scotians waiting.
It's not where Nova Scotians want it to be. It's not where I want it to be, and I'm sure it's not where the government wants it to be.
She gives credit to the province for adding and expanding the scope of nurse practitioners.
I do think they've made significant advances in the primary health care, but, it's not enough, obviously.
Minister Thompson says their goal is to get the list down to 5% of the population, but with people constantly coming on and off the registry, says the number of Nova Scotians on the list will never reach zero. Vanessa Wright, CTV News, Halifax.
You can see where the vehicles could potentially ramp up over that snowbank. It's hard enough for the vehicle to slide up right over the concrete wall and then over and down to the ground below.
Aftermath of a fatal crash on Highway 8 in Kitchener this morning. Ontario Provincial Police say a 38-year-old Waterloo woman died after her vehicle launched off an embankment of snow on a highway flyover and crashed onto the road below.
Obviously, with the massive snow load that we had over the last 24 hours, plows have been out there pushing that snow and opening up those lanes. But in these overpass areas, the snow cannot be just thrown over the walls to the highway below. They push it up against the shoulders. Unfortunately, that also makes an embankment. The vehicle ended up on the ground below on its roof. That driver was pronounced deceased.
Earlier in the morning, a taxi also went over the walls of the flyover and crashed onto the highway. That driver only suffered minor injuries. Police saying the second vehicle that went over the walls dropped quite a distance before landing on the ground below.
But to have two similar circumstances like that, certainly something that we're aware of, and the MTO are also aware of, and the importance of clearing the shoulders as quickly as possible. But again, to get the highways open and then to be able to get the snow removed, that will take time.
Police say it's not uncommon for these embankments to form on flyovers following a major snowfall. But until loaders or snow blowers can take that snow away, the danger remains.
Once the highways have been plowed and salted and cleared for the most part, and now they have to work on removing the excess snow. And again, we have record amounts of snow that fell in the last 24 hours, and this is not unprecedented, but certainly without something that takes exceptional amount of coordination and resources to accomplish. And of course, it's not going to be done, within hours of the snow clearing. We are still trying to determine exactly what the circumstances were that led to the vehicles losing control, but obviously around a bend, out on an elevated platform, slippery conditions. I don't want to speculate on driver or vehicle malfunction or abilities, but that's what we're trying to determine right now.
Now, Highway 8 was reopened this afternoon. OPP say the flyover will remain closed until the snow along the barriers can be removed. The Ministry of Transportation did not respond to our request for comment today. Sergeant Schmidt says OPP have responded to about 200 crashes across the Greater Toronto-Hamilton area in the last 24 hours, including 2 fatalities, and remind drivers to be patient and kind on the roads while crews work to clear them. Krista.
CTV's Colton Weens reporting for us live tonight. Thank you, Colton.
It has been more than 10 years since Miles Gray died following a violent brawl with 7 Vancouver police officers. Now, the public hearing into the circumstances is at risk of being derailed.
It will only add to the pain for the Gray family if there's a further delay.
The hearing has not heard evidence pertaining to the case since Wednesday morning. That's when someone uttered the words, "stupid C word," into a hot mic. The vulgar comment could be heard in the room and on an audio live stream broadcast publicly. It came as hearing counsel Brad Hickford, respondent lawyer Claire Hatcher, and adjudicator Elizabeth Arnold Bailey discussed how to proceed with some evidence. Hickford, who acts in a prosecutorial role and prepped for a year, resigned over allegations he muttered the remark, but stopped short of admitting it. He did not intentionally make the remark in question. He does not recall doing so, a lawyer for Hickford told the hearing on Monday morning. Noting Hickford's key role in the process, Arnold Bailey, a retired BC Supreme Court judge, is reluctant to accept his resignation. While acknowledging the remark was likely directed at her or Hatcher, she called it unfortunate and vulgar. But her position is that revealing the facts through the public hearing is more important. Let's get over it and get on with it, she said. Gray family lawyer Ian Donaldson agrees.
We ought not to elevate an unfortunate, obscene comment, vulgar comment, to the level where we're thinking that it's more important than the public interest in getting to the bottom of what happened.
Lawyers for the 7 respondent police officers requested an adjournment so they could formulate their arguments on Hickford's possible return. Ultimately, the decision will rest with Arnold Bailey. After 10-plus years spent seeking accountability for Gray's death, his family tells me the prospect of a setback adds more anxiety and stress. It is their sincere hope the adjudicator will choose a path forward that allows the hearing to continue without further delay. Ben Milger, CTV News, Vancouver.
Smoke alarms save lives. A London family is lucky to be alive. The smoke alarms alerted the tenants and they woke up by them and evacuated the house. Early Saturday morning, fire broke out in the basement of a home on Martinet Ave in the east end of the city.
The crews encountered heavy smoke when we entered the building. They went to go to the basement. They were forced back from the heat.
With zero visibility because of the smoke, firefighters exited and discovered from the exterior the fire was in the bedroom. They had trouble because of a cluttered basement and many combustible items.
They had to go around behind the stairs to get to the bedroom, and there was a pool table in the way. There was a lot of clutter in there. They got through that, and they found the seat of the fire, and it was a bedroom in the basement that was pretty much consumed by fire.
The residents had evacuated, and police and EMS were on scene. 3 of the 4 people inside the home were taken to hospital with CO and smoke inhalation. A fire inspector is on scene looking for the cause and origin of the blaze, while London police officers stand by to hear the results of his investigation before determining their next steps. District Chief Todd Rainey had a couple of messages after leaving the scene.
You definitely want to have clear paths to the basement, especially if you have people sleeping in the basement. There was a bedroom down there, and that person was lucky to get out of the bedroom.
The other is the importance of working smoke alarms.
It did save 4 lives today.
Brent Leo, CTV News.
As temperatures across Saskatchewan have reached dangerous lows in recent weeks, those who help Saskatoon's unhoused population are asking for more support.
We saw one individual whose fingers were falling off. Absolutely. It's just horrifying. It's just horrifying. If I just took pictures of the hands of people alone who are living on the street, and you could see the number of missing digits and missing fingers, it would break your heart. It's just unacceptable.
CARD says the current supports available for Saskatoon's unhoused population aren't enough, adding that shelters are a temporary solution and the greater issue of housing in Saskatchewan needs more attention.
We're not making progress. We need to restore the things that April mentioned, like direct payment to landlords, and we need to have a compassionate and dignified treatment of our people on the streets.
According to the province, the Ministry of Social Services does have representatives working in shelters with the goal of connecting those in need with more long-term housing options.
What we find, though, is there's individuals, they require additional supports and may not be entirely ready for housing at that point. But that's something that we're constantly trying to do is where an individual we think will be successful with housing, we will definitely work with them to secure them housing.
Saskatoon's latest point-in-time count listed nearly 2,000 people experiencing homelessness, and a comprehensive evaluation from 2024 determined that more than 80% of those without shelter are Indigenous.
The poverty is overwhelmingly female and overwhelmingly Indigenous, and we can do much better if we put our minds to it and work together.
Saskatoon currently has 3 warming shelter locations which operate overnight, in addition to 9 facilities that are available during the day.
If we have shelters that are completely full, that individual is not going to be turned back out onto the street. We will find an appropriate place for them so they're kept safe especially when it's super cold like it has been.
Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
20 million hours. That's how much the Canadian Federation of Independent Business says Canadian doctors lose each year to red tape. And their latest report, in collaboration with the Canadian Medical Association, found that physicians in Alberta, Ontario, and Saskatchewan reported the highest number of hours spent on administrative work per week.
They spend on average around 10 hours per week or more just filling out paperwork. So that takes time away from their ability to serve patients, and it leads to burnout.
The CFIB says that in a recently conducted survey, many Canadian physicians are thinking about cutting back their hours or leaving the medical profession entirely because of the burnout. So what are some solutions to this never-ending red tape?
We can use AI scribes, for example, to help decrease the burden of documenting clinical encounters within our clinic rooms across the country.
According to the report, other top recommendations include simplifying insurer processes, providing protected paid administrative leave, and delegating duties to other health professionals.
Our recommendation would be to set at a minimum a 10% reduction target, which we believe is more than feasible. What it comes down to is reviewing what what's necessary, what's outdated. And if it doesn't require a medical degree to fill out that form, then it should be completed by somebody other than a doctor.
More than 3/4 of Canadian physicians that were surveyed by the CFIB said they would improve their work-life balance if these burdens were reduced, and nearly half said it would free up more time to spend with existing patients and also to take on new ones. The report also found eliminating unnecessary administrative tasks would potentially add the equivalent of 260 full-time physicians in Saskatchewan. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.